Many ocean creatures have visited the creek over the centuries, although rare enough that the papers thought they merited mention. Thursday, March 22, 1832, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Caught stealing. While some men were rowing up Newtown Creek day before yesterday, they discovered a sea dog stealing bass from a fouke of a bass net. They succeeded in taking him, and he was brought to this city, and of course was instantly bought by Dr. Scudder for the American Museum, where he is now exhibiting. Thursday, March 22, 1832, the Evening Post. Attractive series of novelties. Novelty, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, American Museum, Broadway, opposite St. Paul's Church. Another novelty, and of course, taking its place as Novelty the 1st, just received a spotted sea dog, taken in a frink or bass net at Newtown Creek. He is exhibiting as he was taken, and is a great curiosity and a beautiful animal. Thursday, February 10, 1859, the Brooklyn Evening Star. An old settler. We understand that a Lutra brasiliensis, or giant otter, was captured near Newtown Creek a few days ago by Samuel Whitson after a chase of half an hour. He was 4 feet 10 inches in length. Saturday, October 1, 1932, the New York Times. 2-day fox hunt in Greenpoint ends. Hunger drives animal from its hiding place, and patrolman captures it alive. Prospect Park to get it. Owner decides backyard is no place for pet that pistols, hounds, and tear gas failed to daunt. A cage in the Prospect Park Zoo was being prepared last night to house the roving silver fox whose swiftness of foot had set at naught the ingenuity of Greenpoint's police and citizenry for 2 days. Hunger succeeded yesterday where tear gas, firearms, and alleged foxhounds had failed. A search for food, which drove the fox from its hiding place in the ruins of a burned-down building into the yards adjoining a nearby warehouse, landed it shortly after noon in the mittened hands of Patrolman Anthony Santamaria of the Messerole Avenue Station House. The animal was the property of Mrs. Stella Adamczak of 233 Eagle Street, Brooklyn, who said she received it as a present 2 years ago from her son, who runs a fox farm upstate. She kept it in a cage in the backyard. The fox first escaped from its pen a week ago, after a 5-hour siege of its dugout, in which the police and numerous citizens participated. It was driven by tear gas into the nearby Newtown Creek, from which it was rescued and returned to its owners. Its second disappearance occurred 2 days ago, when Mrs. Adamczak rose early in the morning to see 2 men hurrying down the street, one carrying a bundle under his arm. Later in the day, the fox was back, nosing around its yard. It fled to its hideout, however, when an attempt was made to capture it. All day Thursday, the police tried in vain to rout it. They shouted, hurled stones, and discharged their pistols near it. A dog with a reputation as a rat hunter, and then a reputed foxhound, were pressed into service, but the fox did not come out. Patrolman Santamaria was walking his beat around 11 a.m. yesterday when he saw the fox scurrying into a warehouse yard at Provost Street and Page Avenue. He fired and gave chase. The fox was trapped finally in a closet in the warehouse. It looked hungry and did not offer much resistance. Last night, the animal occupied a cage in the ASPCA shelter on Butler Street in Brooklyn. William H. Groom, manager of the shelter, said the fox would be turned over to the Brooklyn Park Department if its owners did not call for it within 3 days. Mrs. Adamczak, however, said she did not intend to reclaim it. Monday, August 28, 1950. The New York Times. Shark shot 8 times, washed up in Queens. The police of the Long Island City, Queens precinct had a mystery shooting yesterday that is not likely to be solved until the person or persons who did the killing should decide to talk. The body, with 8 bullet holes, was washed up on the rocks of the East River bank at 48th Avenue, near the old 6th Street Pier of the Long Island Railroad. The victim was a 6-foot shark. Without calling in the ballistics experts, the police had the Department of Sanitation cart the remains to the Van Eiterstein rendering plant at nearby Newtown Creek. Charles Lorita, mate on the tug Quoke, was the first to see the white-bellied gray scavenger on the rocks. He sent word by relay to the police station. Policemen, who arrived in a radio car, found the bullet-riddled shark, which died soon after. One patrolman ventured the guess that it may have been the same shark that had appeared in the slip at 35th Street, Brooklyn on August 10 and sank, bleeding, after the police had fired about 100 shots at it. Others felt certain the Brooklyn shark could not have survived so long. They inclined to the belief that this was another shark that probably had been shot by a boatman. There have been several recent reports of sharks in the harbor. Sand sharks, which are not man-eaters, are fairly common in this vicinity in late summer. Friday, July 26, 1957. Calf fleeing Brooklyn is lassoed in creek. A calf that escaped from a Greenpoint slaughterhouse and sought to compound its advantage by getting out of Brooklyn as well was rescued last night from Newtown Creek by a patrolman with a life preserver. Fleeing from the Rodman and Graff Corporation building at 309 Johnson Avenue at 10 p.m., the animal ran a quarter of a mile with slaughterhouse workers and bystanders in pursuit. It then sought sanctuary in a Rheingold brewery truck yard at Morgan Avenue and Messerole Street. From there, it jumped into the creek that separates Brooklyn and Queens. Patrolmen Alfred Gans and Harold McCullen, figuring that the calf could swim, drove to the Metropolitan Avenue Bridge a half-mile to the north. There, Officer Gans combined Western and nautical tactics by looping a life preserver about the animal's neck. A police emergency squad and a passing tow truck joined forces to pull the animal. Thursday, March 4, 2010, The Daily News. Dolphin up a polluted city creek by Aaron Durkin. A dolphin was spotted yesterday in Brooklyn's notoriously polluted Newtown Creek. "We were just amazed," said Roy Arezzo, one of 2 teachers from the Urban Assembly New York Harbor School, who saw the 7-foot dolphin swimming deeper into the filthy water. "We just stood there in awe, shouting, telling it to go back the other way. This is a once-in-a-lifetime sighting. The creature may have come upstream from a spot near the Brooklyn Navy Yard where fireboat captain Bill Hannon spotted 2 dolphins Tuesday. It's heartbreaking to see such a beautiful creature in such terribly polluted water," said John Lipscomb, a patrol boat captain for environmental group Riverkeeper, who said the dolphin was likely sick and disoriented. "We hope it finds its way back to sea," he said. Rob DiGiovanni, director of the Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation, said the group would monitor sightings of the dolphin and could mount a rescue mission if there were signs it's in distress.